everyone, and welcome to Emerald Spotlight Series. I am very excited. In today's episode, we're going to be talking to Jason Enriquez, and he's a real deal. He's the podcaster, and he's also an actor and an advocate for mental health. He is also a very fanatic of the Yankees, Jets, Knicks, Devils, and other sports. Let's see if he logs in. Let's read a little bit about the bio while he logs in. Jason Enriquez was born and raised in New Jersey by parents from Colombia and Costa Rica, with parts of his teenager years spent in Miami, Florida. He nurtured a passion for the arts from an early age, particularly drawn to film after experiencing the excitement of the acting genres. There's Jason. Hi.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, Model, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, staying busy. I mean, I'm doing your show now, and then I'm about to do my show right afterwards.
I know. You're like a busy guy, on and on and on and on, going.
I mean,
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're very welcome, but thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Now, talk to us about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Jason Enrique. As you mentioned before, I was born and raised here in Jersey to Colombian and Costa Rican parents. I did spend a little bit of my adolescence down in Florida. I really got involved into the arts at a very, very early age. I would say maybe around age 7 or 8, maybe even 9. There were 2 movies that I saw that really inspired me to want to get into the arts, specifically film. And one of them was Die Hard with a Vengeance, or Die Hard 3 to some people. And the other one was True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So one of the reasons why I was really fascinated by those movies was because I also got to see the behind the scenes featurettes and how they were made. And I thought to myself, that looks like something that's really interesting to do. You know, that looks like something that I would want to be involved in. But I really didn't get the ball rolling until like in my mid-30s because unfortunately, I was dealing with some personal stuff and I didn't know really where to start at the time. And I figured I was just a guy that I'll cross that bridge when I get there, not really putting too much effort, just kind of putting it in fate's hands. But I just realized it was time to, take matters into my own hands and go for my own destiny. And that's when I've been able to make the transition into, artistry, first starting off with podcasting and then finally getting into acting.
So, you first started with the podcast. So when did you decide to start with the first, and that was first class and second place that you're doing right now, right?
That's correct,
when
yes.
You decided to do that, and what motivated you besides from like what you just said? Like, was there other things that motivated you to do podcasts first?
So back in 2005, I've always had an affinity for radio. Like I actually wanted to get into the radio business at one point, but it was just so much things that were going on that it couldn't happen. And it's a really tough business to get into. And now it's a dying industry. Like nobody really is into radio anymore. Podcasts has really become a big thing. So when I started getting into more and more podcasts, like listening to some people that I knew and some people that I was already a fan of prior to them doing podcasts, I figured, you know what, maybe I can do this, because I've always been a fan of radio and I always thought that I could do something with this medium, and it's your own creative freedom. So I decided to go for it, and I didn't get it go up and running just yet. Like I was actually procrastinating for some time until one day I just figured, you know what, if I don't do this now, it's never going to happen. So I got a bunch of cheap equipment and I went into my closet since it was soundproof, and I just recorded a 5-minute episode, and that was the very first episode of First Class Second Place. And I told myself, all right, I got the first episode out of the way. Now I got to continue this momentum. And now tonight, I'm about to film my 155th episode of First Class Second Place.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. And to know that you started in your closet and now you have a whole studio, correct?
Yeah, which is actually right now, we're at Bravery Studios right now in Garfield, New Jersey. That's where the home base of my podcast is. To anybody that's looking to start their own podcast or get involved in any way, shape, or form, you can reach out to Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey, ask for Mar Perdomo, and they'll take care of everything that you need.
So you rent the space as well?
Correct, yes. Now, when I first started the show, I really didn't. I didn't start off with this. Like I said, I started in my closet, and my show was audio only for like the first 75 episodes. I didn't do video yet, And that's when I wanted to elevate the show a little bit more as opposed to just audio only. I worked with some other people before that helped me get up the video up and running, but I knew Mar for a while, and I knew eventually I wanted to come to the studio and do my show, and then I was able to make enough money at my day job in order to make that happen. And now I've been here ever since. I've been here for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Awesome. Congrats. This
Thank
is
you.
amazing. What do you love most about your podcast? What's your favorite?
Two things, I would say. One, it's the ability to finally get my voice out there after feeling like I've been silenced for a very long time from people that didn't want to hear or understand where I was coming from, dealing with my own mental health issues back then. And two, I wanted to create a safe space for other people. It originally started off as trying to show off the talent and the amazing people that are here in the state of New Jersey. But as I continued to do it, I realized it was a little bit more deeper than that. And long story short, I feel comfortable to say that I've built a safe place where people could be honest and raw and open about themselves in front of my audience, because I display that transparency as well. So if I'm able to display that, then anybody else could, and create a safe space for whatever they want to talk about.
I love it. So it's like a safe space for people to be themselves and to kind of like talk clearly and truthfully without any
Right.
holding back, because it's just a safe space for them.
Correct, because the way I look at it is, I'll give you an example. So let's say if I were to get Jay-Z on my show, if I have Jay-Z on my show, I don't want to talk to Jay-Z. I want to talk to Sean Carter. I want to know what drives him from being this person that grew up in Marcy Projects to the empire that he's built now. And I feel that my audience resonates with that, as opposed to just having somebody come on my show and promoting a new film that they have or a new album they have. And we'll get into all that, but at the end of the day, my audience wants to know who the real person is, and in turn, that's going to help them support the person that's on my show. That's the approach that I take with it.
Yeah, who they are, how they got to be who they are, and what their real passion is.
Exactly, and you never know. You could have an extremely popular person on my show, but once you brought that relatability out of them, then you're able to, I think it'll help them with their brand as well, and their audience and their traffic. And it's just me being able to help help out people in any way I can.
Right. It's the way to connect, really.
Correct.
Now, do you do your own editing, or you have somebody there? Because I hear claps and stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Is that like you pressing a button, or is there some other, like you have a group of people working with you at the same time?
So I have a group of people that work with me. That's one of the perks at Bravery Studios. You have an engineer, and they handle all the stuff that you need. So basically, all you really need to do is just come in here and talk your shit. And then, I don't know if I can curse or anything, so I apologize. But basically, just do whatever it is that you do, and then they'll take care of the rest. And, you guys are a cohesive unit. You work together and, just try to put out the best possible content.
Yeah. Okay. So, for the part that you're an actor, I understand you're acting now. How long have you been acting, and what are some projects that you're working on?
So I've only been an actor for about a year and some change, maybe a year and 6-7 months. I really got into it because when I started doing the podcast and doing networking, I was coming across other people that saw something in me. I don't know if it was either my voice or my look or my personality.
Well, you have a very, very, very deep voice and very at the same time.
Right. So I guess I'll even tell you right now, there was a short film that I did last year where I played a bad cop in an interrogation room. I simply got that role because of my hair and my voice. That's it. I don't have a lot of acting credits to my name, but that was just enough for me to get the role. But aside from all of that, I actually want to hone on my craft, and that's why I want to consider taking acting classes and possibly doing theater, because if I do this, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not in it for egotistical reasons. I'm not doing it for materialistic reasons. I'm doing it from a passionate standpoint. And I preach this all the time on my show, where anything that I do, I want to be an example for other people that are listening and watching, because if God.
Sorry, cut off. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. You were saying? the guy.
No, I was just saying. No, I was just saying that if I can do it, anybody else can.
Yes. That's a great advice. Just keep going and follow your passion and what you truly like really want to do. It's usually like really inside your heart. It keeps there's a thing always kind of keeps on pushing you to like go that way. Sometimes we resist it, but it keeps coming back. You know, when it keeps coming back, I feel like you have to go for it and just give it a try. Give it a try. Yeah. What has been your most enjoyable acting role to date? I know you've only been doing it for a year and a half, but what has been your most enjoyable?
So far, it actually is that role that I just mentioned, where I played a crooked cop in an interrogation room because I think it was an opportunity to show the intensity that I can have within me, and I basically just channeled my inner Ray Liotta, rest in peace, all the way from Newark, and I just kind of emulated his energy and his passion to do that role, and I actually have. Say is one of the reasons why I'm excited for this one, and this is also an example to people out there that want to get into acting. I got this role because it required me to channel a certain kind of rage and arrogance, and I was able to actually display that from my experience with my father, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but he did have that type of personality. So I basically felt like I just channeled his personality into this role, and that was enough to secure the role. And I'm looking forward to playing it because one of the things, again, like I said, it's all based off of experience, and I feel like if people can find a way to tap into their experiences and what they want to do and how they want to do it, then ultimately they could do anything.
I'm sorry about your father, and and then you're saying you have to connect to the experience that you're having at the same time.
Correct.
Let's see. What do you do on your free time? Because you're like a busy guy. So like I always like wonder people that are like always doing something. What are something that you enjoy doing on your free time?
Anything that has to do with my dog. I have a dog. His name is Monty. He's my little buddy. I love that guy. And with my busy schedule, unfortunately, I feel like I don't get to spend as much time with him as I'd like. So whenever I have some free time to myself, I make sure to spend time with him. And whether it's going to the park, going to the beach, maybe even just going for a car ride, just spending time with him, because one of the best things in the world is like, me coming home and he's excited to see me. And we hear this quote all the time. It's like, a dog is only part of our lives, but to that dog, we are their entire lives. So I want to be there for him as much as I can. He has brought me so much joy and mental healthness and so on and so forth being in my life. And I just, I really enjoy having him in my life. So to answer your question fully, anytime I get some free time, most likely it's going to be with my dog.
And how long have you been having him?
I've had him for 4 years now.
4 years. Mm-hmm. And before him, did you had a dog before, or this is the first experience that you have with a dog?
No, so I've had experiences with dogs before. I've had dogs before, but they were more like family dogs. But this one he's mine. Like I got him when he was a baby, and he's still mine at the end of the day.
Oh, somebody said shout out to Monty. Michelle.
Shout out to my friend Michelle Kyoko, talented person.
What upcoming projects do you have? I know we were talking about the movies, but do you have any other upcoming projects in the works right now?
I've actually been thinking about a couple of different other podcasts as opposed to just First Class, Second Place, because there's other things that I love doing. Like, I'm a big sports guy, so I would like to continue doing a sports podcast in the future. I think that's something that I'm going to implement in 2025. So for people that love the show First Class, Second Place, they'll still will be getting it, but I will tell people right now that in 2025 you probably won't be getting as much of it, but that's only because there's other podcast projects that I want to work on. But I promise to bring out the best possible content that everybody enjoys on the show.
Sounds interesting. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Thank you.
Now, I know you're a big advocate for mental health. Why did that become so important to you?
Because I felt like, I've gone through my mental health struggles like everybody else. And, you know, we've all talked about with generational curses and traumas and so on and so forth. And I feel like now is a perfect time where everybody feels like it's safe to talk about these things, when it felt like it was so taboo not so long ago. And me starting this platform and being open and honest with myself and everybody else has been able to make everybody else feel the same way. And I feel like they've been looking for somebody to actually listen to them and hear them out and understand that it's okay to talk it out and not be ashamed about what you want to say and how you're feeling. And me being a pillar or an example of that has been very rewarding for me. So I just think that it's very important. You know, these are crazy times that we're living in right now, and I think that we need each other more than ever, and we should be collaborating instead of competing with each other.
I absolutely love your message, and I see it every time I see any of your podcasts. You always bring out the inner of the person that you're speaking with. They're like, how do they feel about certain things, and kind of like what have they learned during the process and their growth and all that stuff, which is very important to share and to learn, because there are certain things that I've seen that I was like, I thought maybe I was the only one going through certain things, and I see it on your podcast and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that sends a message and don't hear anything back from like a group chat. I remember you saying something like that at some point, where you like send a message in a group chat and you don't hear anything back, and then it's like, what happened there?
Right. And you never know who really needs just an ear to listen to. Like, I'll give you a quick example real quick. So I was actually on a podcast 2 years ago, somebody else's, I was a guest on theirs. And I opened up and shared something about something that happened to me a couple of years ago, where, long story short, it almost ended my life. And I got out of it, and I was able to rise up and, you know, get over it and work on myself. And when I shared that story, it reached out to somebody that I have never met before on the other side of the country. And he just simply messaged me on social media telling me, thank you for your transparency. I went through the same thing that you went through. And it's nice to know that somebody out there actually feels and understands what I'm going through. So that was very rewarding for me. And mind you, this is a person that I never met before, but if we just, if a person like me can continue to spread that message and keep on, you know, trying to like get the message out there and be more transparent and show that it's okay to show your emotions and be honest and open with yourself.
Yeah.
You never know who you could reach and how that could be really, really helpful to somebody that's really in need.
Yeah, it could be really impactful in people's life and in
continued life.
Yeah, I could see that, and I am very grateful that you're doing your podcast. I absolutely love it. Sometimes I don't have time to like watch it sitting down, so sometimes I'll just put it on the car while driving, and I'll listen to it as I'm driving to work or driving back. Thank you, Alexandra. She was the one who kind of like introduced me to you.
Thank you, Alexandra.
The interview that you did with her. I love Alexandra. I don't know if she's still in here, but she's always very supportive. Love you. Kisses to you. Now, as we close up the podcast, because I know you have to go to your own podcast, as we close out this live, tell me a message that you would like to leave everyone with. Something that you think is very important for everybody to maybe follow, like a kind of like a life message.
I always say actions speak louder than words, always, always, always. So the biggest thing in life, whether you are worried if you're going to fail or succeed, just show up, because at the end of the day, the results might be better than what you bargained for. And it gives you strength physically and mentally and spiritually to actually just show up in the face of adversity. So at the end of the day, people, all I just say is that whatever you're going through, whatever you want to do with your life, just go for it. I understand that there's going to be discouragements and some self-deprecation and doubts and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, just show up, because you never know what the great things could happen if you actually just show up.
Amazing message. Just show up. And we're here showing up and following our dreams. So many blessings to you. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you, and best of luck. Thank you so much.
Me. I really appreciate this.
All right. See you soon.
All right.
Hopefully I'll meet you one day.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
We'll definitely get that in the works.
All right. See ya. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.